Today I will present you my Aatrox Jungle. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm a challenger jungler and coach. And I love Aatrox. I've been playing him before these buffs for quite a long time, and I even have some videos on him beforehand. He wasn't like in an okay spot, but now he got buffed quite a lot. It's showing up with a crazy almost 20% play rate on the Korean server, and that's considering he also gets banned, so people there love him, maybe because of the low ping. This is a low master US game, and I just want to showcase you guys what are the strengths of this champion, what are the weaknesses, what should you be looking to buy, how does a game of Aatrox Jungle look like, what does this champion even bring on this role, is it OP, is it not? Well, in my latest video I said that Aatrox Jungle is going to be OP. I still believe that it's shaping up to be like that, because even though junglers don't play Aatrox Jungle, they don't have it in this in their champion pool, it's already higher win rate than top lane, even though it's like barely 49-50%. It seems to be that once more junglers learn this pick, it's going to go up and up in win rate and eventually look a little bit overpowered. Who knows? Either way, it feels very strong in my hands, because I have the basics, I have the concepts, the mechanics on this champion at a decent level. I'm still unrusting, it's not quite oiled up, but we are getting there. So this clear ended up being 320, I believe, and that's with me being slightly delayed level 1. And this action has no flash, I'm looking to punish him, and as you've noticed, the clear is full HP. Even before the buffs it was like that. You would take a bit extra damage, but you would still clear at full life, which makes it very solid, very safe. It means that it's hard to invade Aatrox Jungle, which has a pretty good skirmish against a bunch of characters which are going to, you know, if they invade you, they run into you, they are gonna fucking get hit by all of your Qs, I assume. So you can turn some fights, you can E over walls, and that already brings him to a spot where he is a safe blind pick. I protect my Raptor start here, and why are we even starting Raptors? Because I don't want to pet into Cassante lane. First of all, Cassante is very hard to gank, but then with Soraka Artix, you also can't really gank. If I start Raptors, I get more golden XP generation compared to starting buff, and this character is about scaling a bit, farming, ramping up. It's a carry jungle, you want to play for yourself, get as many resources as possible. I'm also going red pet to make it easier to chain Qs together, to catch targets, even to right click them, because if you end up engaging with auto attacks, you can run them down with a slow. It's a very useful, kind of like having an Iceborne Gauntlet. And my first item in this match will be like Cleaver. Now there's a very good item that you can buy on Aatrox in most games, which I showed in other videos as well, Voltaic Cyclosword. Very synergistic to kill people in one rotation with lethality, and the slow ends up setting up everything very well. But what happens when they have like Cassante, Diana, Gragas can't really hit action in fights reliably, because you're just gonna be sitting around with his stealth and dash in the spin. And I have to use 2, maybe 3 Qs to kill my target. Well, in that case, you should probably build Spear of Shojin. Well, no. I prefer Black Cleaver. And why Black Cleaver, guys? Because you get movement speed to actually stick to your target. Aatrox can be somewhat kiteable. If the W doesn't pull and you need multiple Qs to kill target, well, the movement speed difference, since you have a movement speed advantage, is going to make a big deal of difference, and you get cooldown on your R. Obviously, you are pretty ult reliant in a lot of situations. The item is a bit cheaper, build pet is a bit better, but you also can stack it relatively quickly with W if it ends up hitting, and you can have it fully stacked by the third Q. And 5 stacks Black Cleaver, press third Q, maximum damage on that. Shojin also stacks pretty slowly, but very importantly, Shojin is spell damage, guys. Black Cleaver is auto attack damage. Keep that in mind. Aatrox has very strong auto attacks because of his passive, high base AD, and ultimate giving you AD. So when you go Shojin on Aatrox, you are missing a lot of that auto tech damage that you could stack on the Diana or Cassandra. And there are a lot of fights where you pretty much kill people with auto attacks only as Aatrox. It's just how it is. Champion is very strong at auto attacking. So movement speed plus strong auto attacks plus CDR is why I prefer Black Cleaver over Shojin. Now Shojin can be decent if you stack it on a camp and then hit a target, or if you stack it on one champion and then switch to another champion with your fully stacked Shojin and deal a bit of extra damage. But even then, think about it, well, it's 12% damage, you're not getting 30% damage increase or something. And Black Cleaver does also scale better. So overall I recommend buying this if you play Aatrox Jungle. Your clear is gonna be a bit slower with a Black Cleaver, but not really, because on most camps you're only using one Q, so you're not gonna have that stacks. And between camps, for example, if you go from Raptors to Wolves, you are going to lose the stacks. Now let's pay a bit of attention to the gameplay, to what's going on, because we are gonna miss some details. So it's been a bit of full clearing, doing dragon, forcing a skirmish, and then going back to full clearing. But now, here's what we have to understand. Diana went for a gank top lane, which means I can punish these camps, and I also went for the wolves because I cleared them very quickly, and I know that she's gonna be too late for these camps unless she skips her own camps, which she's probably not going to do. She might even sacrifice it and play for grabs. There are a couple things to notice here. Let's go watch it from my own POV. So, we are going for these camps, and especially if Gragas shows on the map. If they go for these grabs, it's not just that Diana is going to lose all of these camps and I'm going to get immediate value from the golden XP, while the grabs are delayed value. They actually have to hit towers for this objective to mean something, or they have to win Thesis of Strength with it, but we already got a dragon, so they're pretty far away. Not only she opens up for future snowball, because now I'll have timers on these camps and I can reinvade these raptors, reinvade these Krags with my lead pretty easily. But the AD carry is also left on an island. Of course, AD carry is the king of the team at in the later stages. I miss my Q there because she's still a fucking home guard and we can dive her. Yeah, the AD carry, who is usually a character with 0 CC, 0 tankiness, easy to dive, has to suffer and tilt and lose all of this stuff, while for the moment all Diana got is like 70 gold from killing some grabs. Alright? My Artix, who was struggling a bit in lane, is getting to fucking free farm, get some plates, while me, well, we are just chilling. And I'm going for this scuttle grab because of course Diana's not gonna go into my topside camps because she's not gonna know where I go after recalling. Therefore I go for the crab, because she's probably also gonna check her bot side camps if she's a low elo master piggy. And because she shows in vision, I simply woke up. I'm trying to just kinda right click her. No problem. Black Cleaver acquired. Let's check my runes. Alacrity very important on Aatrox, extremely important. Whatever you do, the other runes don't even matter. Just have Alacrity on Aatrox. It's your only source of attack speed. Double adaptive because it's just too good for the Q on early clear. AD is also very good stat. If you play attack speed shard, I guess it's playable, but it reduces your early skirmishing and clear speed, so it's not very good. While Alacrity boosts it. Point is, Aatrox is a very strong auto-decker. Here we do some for fun plays. Gragas holds me away. Because I had no cooldowns. Overall we played that fight pretty decently, but our team misplayed a little bit. It's not a big deal. We just end up stealing the raptors, full killing everything. And now reset for the dragon. And of course I don't have to do the dragon right away because I don't want to give all of these camps to Diana when they cannot contest the dragon anyway. It's pretty simple. You guys should never stress out around dragons and stuff like that. Yes, it is a bit delayed. Who cares? Does it really matter? We are not playing versus Scale. We are not playing versus fucking Hasadin. It's okay, bro. We can delay the dragon a bit. Just take it later. These guys are fighting boss again. I don't care. I started dragon. I'm going to fucking finish it. And is what I mean. Spiking Record, people. Alacrity, Ball Cleaver gives you strong auto decks. Now I can make a choice, because I have timers on all of these camps on Aatrox Jungle as well, which means that we can choose. Do we attack topside, where there's also Scattergrab, or do we attack bot side? If we attack topside, there's a high chance Diana stays on the map and actually dies trying to fight us. And then if we kill Diana here, or bait her team into a fight and kill even more people, that's obviously even better. We can take this and try to conquer the bot side as well. But for some reason I don't remember exactly why I went for this kill on Kassandra. I was pretty confident that I can kill him because he only has Hollow Radiance, and that would allow me to invade Diana probably anyway, although she kinda has time to farm everything if she does like bot side right now into... Sorry, I mean top side, and then goes into bot side, but still we would be able to perhaps get some plates or dive whoever wants to cover this. These champions are kinda easy to dive. I get level 11 power spike with my ultimate, I push this in. You see in there the black cleaver, the movement speed makes it very hard to stick to that Cassandra. Well, if I had Shojin, this skill would be a little bit scuffed. Movement speed stat is heavily underrated on Aatrox. And then we can go for these camps. Triple tonic, by the way, yes, it makes my E cooldown lower right now, but you also get some W value later. So even if you have to start maxing your W, the triple tonic is still valuable because this is cooldown, slight amount of damage, 10 damage per hit, so you get 20 damage, but also slow. And this slow, even though it's a very minor amount, it can really be the difference between pulling and not pulling. So it's a pretty nice thing to have triple tonic because it boosts your early game quite a lot. Very strong rune, it got buffed. You guys know I was playing it on a lot of different champions even before that. Here I'm just trying to kite the enemies a bit, which is another instance where the movement speed does help. You can kite melee champions a bit better with Black Cleaver. Also it will take Cyclo Sword. As I said, some kind of utility is nice. And yeah, just gonna wreck with this guy to death. Right click, right click, right click. With the black. Now we reset and we buy Sundered Sky. And this is pretty much mandatory. Like 99% of the time Sundered Sky should be your second item, because the healing is amplified by your ultimate, and because you have very high AD from your ult and from your base AD stats, plus I guess your champion that runs Conqueror, the crits can be really insane at certain stages of the game. Especially if you have lethality, you can half HP people. It's very strong in teamfights. Early game first item, it can be okay if you really want to be as tanky as possible, but it's not the best in 1v1 and in ganks, smaller skirmishes. While for second item, it's really solid, especially because you start putting more points into R. Goes from 50 to 75%, which is lovely. Now, we're just trying to get a pick, because when you are this strong, you can take any kind of like 1v2, 2v3, stuff like that. It can be really good to force your lead into the game. A little kill on Diana. And here you'll see, like I don't know what cooldowns Junara has. She might have flash, might have barrier, ult, whatever. Which means that I'm not going to do like a max range Q. I'm straight up going to walk up to her and start queuing her. See if she flashes, see if I can auto her. I could have started with a Q a bit earlier, because the first Q doesn't even matter that much, to be fair. But you'll see that I'm not using my auto deck yet. I'm hitting, and I auto take at the end, because the Sundered Sky healing, which is really strong on Aatrox, is based on missing health. So if I started with an auto attack there, I wouldn't heal so much, which means that I would have probably died. I think most likely I would have died. Because the healing is so much bigger when you're low health. That's pretty important to keep in mind when you play Sundered Sky. I don't know the fuck is that he's counter jungling me. That's okay. If you guys are learning stuff and if you guys want to learn more, don't forget to follow my stream. This was played on stream. Drop a like, drop a sub, and check out my other links. You can also hit me up for coaching on Discord. Join Discord, yeah. You get notifications for streams and videos. Like I said, I have a lot of games on Aatrox. I'm a bit rusty. But I can teach you guys how to play this champion if you are interested in learning it. I'm just passionate about Aatrox to the extent where I even tried to pick him in spots where he was viable in before he even got buffed. But now one of the strengths of the character is that it's pretty blindable. You can kind of pick it into whatever and do fine. There are gonna be some comps that cause you immense pain and suffering, and he really wants to have some CC and tankiness, some frontline, maybe even an enchanter here and there on his team. But ideally, if you have like a Nautilus or a Maokai top lane, Aatrox becomes a lot better as a pick. So look to pick him when you have some CC and frontline on your team. And especially if enemy team doesn't have much mobility. Those spots are ideal because it's so easy to hit sweet spots, get resets, and just be strong. And we still keep a 10 CS per minute, even higher in some games. It's very strong to be a jungler with a dash on a 3-second cooldown that goes over walls, and you have all this flexibility to go in and out over walls in the jungle. If you guys didn't know, Riot mentioned that Aatrox rework was initially designed to be a jungler, and his kit kind of makes sense as a jungler. It's a mix of early game scaling and carry potential, while it's kind of a healthy kit in the sense that his Q makes a lot of sense at clearing jungle camps. You use these big hits to like nuke raptors and wolves and stuff like that, and you can go over walls. But it's also that his ganks are very high counterplay. Like if you get hit by everything from Aatrox and get ganked and die to that, it's a little bit of a skill issue. And if your teammate is Twisted Fate and has some synergy with you, I think that's totally fair. Maybe you have to play Cleanse or something if you don't want to die. But yeah, let me show you what you can do. Let's talk a bit about Overlords. So when you go Black Cleaver, it opens up the possibility of going Overlord's third item, because you have a lot of HP to give you decent scaling of this item, 68 AD, and then at low HP I can get maybe another 55 AD, which ends up being, what, almost 130 AD, which is a little bit ridiculous for just one item on your third item. That's like hubris with a lot of stacks, but this item is crazy. And because of the E ratio, if you do the math, this is going to be a lot of Omnivamp that you are able to get. I think you can get how much? What is the math on this, guys? Let's think quickly. So it's amplified twice by your ultimate, which means that it should be about around 10% healing. It's quite a lot of Omnivamp that you can get from your E passive with HP. So even though I didn't go like a Desdance, I'm getting more Omnivamp from my E. But of course resistances are very good on Aatrox. It's just that when you stack these HP items, then you also have more access to Stella's Gauge, getting a fat shield. Because you have very high base AD, Stella's gives you a lot of AD, and then it further synergizes with Overlord's Bloodmaid. But yeah, they have healing reduction in this fight, and I was able to really tank tower shots, tank their entire team. And then we go back to full HP with Soraka. It's pretty ridiculous. You could make an argument for Spirit Beast here, but it's a pretty shitty item, so I would rather have Serax and Rain Dunis as my last items. They don't have much magic damage anyway. They also went plated steel caps with armored advance, but Onion boots are pretty good here because you don't need mercs, you don't need tabbies, because you're not going to take that much auto damage. And that's about it, my friends. Now, let's see how we close out this game. In a lot of situations like this, just so you guys get a better idea of how to close out your games, we have these objectives up on the map Herald, which is kind of irrelevant because it doesn't change the state of the game whatsoever. We are up 10k gold. It could help to close it, so we don't want to give it to enemy team for free, but of course Atakan is a higher priority now. And I have my ultimate, I just want to fight. Right? I'm free tanking the Yunara here. I could have switched to her if I wanted. This fight was definitely not the best I could have went for choke here. A little bit of limit test. I'm going a bit too hard by myself. And then, since Artix wants to go for this tower, on the minimum bug, unlucky, I can go for my jungle camps. We don't have to do the objectives right away, because we're already on soul point. We already outscale the enemy team. I simply need to complete my Serra's Gauge, and then Artix nukes the Atakan anyway. Because how could I be the strongest I can possibly be? I need to complete my Serra's Gauge, and that's what I'm playing for. If I have Serra's Gauge, it gives me such a strong power spike that I can essentially almost 1v5 the enemy team, and it will never be losable. We will be able to secure the soul, and since we already outscale, it's gonna be super easy to close out the game. Now, for some reason, Kennen ulted the fucking wave. I think he's a little bit mad that I didn't do the Atakan right away or something. I'm not sure what the fuck is wrong with him. Now I completed my Sterax, and I am here a little bit earlier than my team, and I'm looking for some kind of flank. And this is what you have to understand on Aatrox. Especially if you are ahead, he's very good at finding flanks. You could even see that in competitive. This is one of the strengths of the champion, because you can go over walls, you can avoid a lot of vision and get behind people, and you also have little risk of getting caught, because if I dash here, then I can also dash again to get out in a few seconds, and I can also dash again over the wall if they try to follow up on me, to go over the wall with me. So you end up creating a lot of possibilities, just like, you know, you play Kassadin, but Kassadin is not as good as flanking as Aatrox in a lot of situations, simply because, well, he's not as tanky. I can also initiate the fight as this Leviathan, this behemoth that is Aatrox. This is gonna be G motherfucking G pretty much. This solo would have been really insane to play around with Soraka and Aatrox. And even though this game was a little bit rough from enemy team, they made a lot of mistakes, I'm just showcasing you the power of the champion. And I will be for sure posting more Aatrox, because I'll be playing this character a lot until Riot nerfs it to the ground. But the thing is that they can't even do anything. They can't do anything to make me stop playing this champion, because they already committed to Aatrox Jungle being buffed. And if they nerf him in the jungle, well, that's it, he will still be strong, because he was already borderline viable before they buffed him. So even if they walk back on some of the buffs and nerf him a bit, he's still gonna be stronger than before. Which means that I will still play him, because I really enjoy the character. And I love this flexibility that he has. He has some poke damage, he has some range, he can get a lot of resources and be nimble on the map. I kind of feel a bit like I'm playing Woody, like, you know, Woody travels the map very fast with his E. The Aatrox can also do that by going through walls and just spamming his E. I love this gameplay loop that you can utilize smartly, even in harder games, to out macro enemies on the map with this speed. It's actually, if you guys know Talon and Chaos Stanza, you know what I'm talking about, what you can do with Talon E, simply because of that strength. Aatrox is a little bit of a Talon in himself, especially in mid lane when these abilities are maxed with CDR. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my schizoids. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and let me know if you would like some of these videos to be longer. Maybe I could add 10-15 minutes to go really in depth about every single little decision with jungle pathing and tracking and, you know, gank opportunities. Really what's going in my mind with these games. Perhaps we can post some more live gameplay as well, although I really like doing this gameplay commentary analysis. This is just what I like to do. Thanks for watching. G motherfucking G.